All right, so we've got a couple of really practical points here. And the first one is this: if you can do something about your situation, stop complaining about it and just do it, right? So anyone have an example of that kind of a situation?
Yeah, I know for me, I have a lot of roommates, and as you can imagine, a lot of people create a lot of dishes, and a lot of times I'll come into the kitchen and there's just dishes everywhere. And I could so easily move the 2 feet from the sink to the dishwasher, but instead I look at it and then go complain about it.
Mm-hmm. And so some things are just in our control. If you're watching this at home or with a small group, maybe you can make a list of things that are in control, that are in your circle of control. And those are things you don't have to over spiritualize. Just quit your griping, quit your complaining, and do something about it. Just Matt or Kaylee, just do the dishes, okay? But there are things sometimes that are out of our control. I think this is probably even more important. And so if it's something that's out of your control, if you're out of options, then stop complaining. And in that case, you might have to change your perspective. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to explain that scenario.
I think I experience that a lot. Probably a large majority of my complaining is about just like my bodily, like my back hurts, or I'm hungry, or I'm cold. And a lot of the time I just can't change that. Like, you know, my back is injured and it's going to take a while to heal. And it's like there's no point in complaining about that all day.
So it's better just to change your focus.
Yeah, change my perspective and realize like, okay, I'm blessed to be here at a job working, you know, even if my back hurts. Like, some people don't have this opportunity.
Well, yeah, and our daughter is getting ready to go to college, and she's an introvert, and she's been focusing a lot of her attention on how am I going to get time to myself? I'm living in this small room, in this small space, and just kind of focused on the things that are just, this is college, this is what it is. And so we've just been encouraging her to think about it a different way, like change your perspective, change your attitude, and look at this as an opportunity, and to recognize you're going to have to make adjustments. It doesn't always go the way we want it to go. So if you just focus on all the stuff that you don't like about a situation, it just changes your whole attitude. You're just complaining, you're negative, and you're no fun to be around.
Yeah. The Apostle Paul is a great example of this. In Philippians 2, he says this: "But I will rejoice even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God." And so what Paul's talking about there, he's writing to the church at Philippi, and he's saying, hey, I recognize I'm probably going to die for my faith. And he ended up doing that. He ended up dying for his faith. You know, he was beaten, he was shipwrecked, he went through all these different things as a follower of Jesus, and yet in none of his writings does he complain about it. Every time we study this in the Word, his perspective is just always focusing on God. The opposite of what the Israelites were doing. They're focusing on their situation and therefore complaining, but the Apostle Paul focused on the bigger picture and was able to, because he changed his perspective, he was really able to be thankful.